Lao Tzu once said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So how many steps out of those 1,000 have you honorably taken to complete the mission that you were put on this planet for? Step into my office, let's dig a little further into these questions. Alright, let's keep it real. If you can be anywhere in the universe, where would you be? If you can work in any place in the world, where would you work? If you could be with someone regardless of their skin tone, status, or occupation, who would you be with? You see, most of the world lives in a comfort zone circle, and any action taken outside of that circle just wouldn't make sense. This turns the world into a cold place for great ideas, because until it works, nobody cares. Just imagine if this particular individual gave up and let himself get benched by doubt, working from paycheck to paycheck, never inspiring millions, making it into the Hall of Fame or creating an epic sneaker, but instead submitting to failure and walking off the court defeated. When situations like this happen, it's advantageous to listen to that little voice that's telling you there has to be another way. Now, I'm not saying quit your job today to go after your dream, because me of all people can tell you starting a movement from nothing is not a game. On the other hand, working at a place that does not feed your creativity will have you thinking, I hate this job. This is where most unconsciously blow up bridge after bridge until the only one left standing is that of frustration. And you, standing on it, looking through a broken mental window, solitarily and voluntarily ready to jump and be embraced by the arms of what you think is rock bottom. When curveballs like these are thrown at you, you realize who had one foot outside the door the whole time, waiting to run on the first hint of a relentless storm without a blink of hesitation. They're gone. Beware of those who say it's never too late, or they'll carry your sword while you heal. For the heartless, wear masks and they'll promise you the world, but their words are lies covered in scales. Real the struggle is when you give your everything and your inner honors not match due to the facts and people's souls that attach. In these selfish kind of wars, some people just never bounce back. Karma's a you better brace for impact. And now for some basic math. Life plus cat equals, you guessed it, 9 lives. Problem is, the same concept does not apply to humans. So when you feel like the universe is swinging you around like a wet rag doll for no reason, just keep in mind, as long as there's life in you, there's fight in you. So therefore, obviously, this is not the answer. Lack of self-confidence is the worst kind of imprisonment. So here's a few options. You can 1, stay swimming in the past, drowning in the sorrows that somebody left you behind to die in. Or 2, get an average job, and of course this does not apply to parents. Or 3, you can get up, brush off, and keep it moving. Cause real leaders know only those who want to be forgotten give up. Fact, your realest people will prove to be worth their weight in gold, for in your darkest moments, those will be the ones that will grab you and drag you back into the light. As for the others, as long as you have this, they'll be around to do this. The second your ship sinks, they'll do this. See, the thing about the weak is that they'll always find an exit, whereas the strong always finds a way. When people show their true colors, it tends to leave most frustrated. But the truth is, empty words have no structure. Nature fact, the lotus flower is one of the most resilient plants. It overcomes obstacles and adversities from seed form, emerging from the murkiest environments to claim its light, displaying its individual beauty on the water's surface. So if you're thinking about giving up, you're barking up the wrong tree. And this will never point you in a direction of clarity. Tranquility times hard work equals prosperity. Just memorize the saying if your spirit's not hearing me. Drop the act, renew your passion. You want respect? Go out and live what you imagine. Create the action. Many talk but few do. So if you're not about your word, I'm not about you. If you were stuck in the middle of a vast ocean mid-storm surrounded by 60-foot starving sharks without radio transmission, would this be the group you entrust your life with? Or would you choose a more relentless, strategic group of animals set out to achieve one epic, common goal? I've learned recently that when one hits rock bottom, only the true will stand beside you and show you it's only the universe training you to become a stronger person. The closer you get to achieving your highest purpose, you will discover that the most fierce adversary has always been you. And once you overcome your self-doubt and fear, all that was once blurry will become clear. You have the ambition it takes to fall 1,000 times to win once. And are you willing to go through all the footwork that it takes for you to get to where you really want? You can always tell the hungry, cause they'll hit every branch before the paved ground and still refuse to stay down. There are two types of people in the world, those who talk until the cows come home and others who simply go get it. You say you want to be good at something, practicing ain't go cut it, you gotta want it. When pushing your body to its limits, you always gotta find a way to relax, so you should find what makes you laugh. Just look at that sexy little monster! I believe that by continuing along the path of your truest convictions, paired with lighthearted moments of genuine happiness, is the best remedy to forgetting what never was. Life, it's lived by choices, and those choices become actions, which will undoubtedly put you on a path paved with the energy you generated to make so. The realm of the mind visualizes and materializes, and then becomes your reality. Thus saying, the mind is chief, and anything one believes, one can achieve. And the total opposite applies, of course. So my question to you is, when faced with life's challenges, what side will you reach out to help you restart your inner drive? Dreams. We all have one. Funny thing is, most people fear their given purpose, and as most know, fear pushes people to fight for safety, and safety directs people to a 9 to 5. And this puts you in a position to build someone else's dream for a paycheck. But what do you really want? Not what everybody else wants you to be, but you. Yes, I'm talking to you. The person you will wake up and go to bed with every day from the moment you're born to the moment you're gone. What is your true soul purpose in life? Why are you here? When you find it, will you run from it, or will you embrace it and become one with it? Does your determination have enough drive to put in the hours, days, months, and years it will take to recreate yourself over and over again until you find that one missing piece that completes it all? If your life was in a box office movie, would your story be worthy of the main character or just an extra on the set? If someone handed you a giant canvas and asked you to paint your version of self-expression, would you be able to do so on the spot? I'm sure the average person wouldn't even try due to fear of messing up. You see, anybody can gain a bunch of followers, but only a handful are driven enough to go through all the trials and tribulations it takes to build a meaningful community. When building your community, the mess-ups will make for good stories later on, but the epic fails will teach you invaluable lessons along the way. Failure will definitely either make or break you, but you want to keep in mind, no one rolls out of bed a master of their craft. Fact, if you stop, they win, so release the beast within. We were all put on this planet to let our voices be heard. Very few are brave enough to walk their own path to find their true calling in life. But once you get there, the universe will let you know that you have arrived. So be ready to battle for that claim that is your birthright. Beyond abandonment, heartbreak, failure, and self-doubt, there is another realm composed of acceptance, love, victory, and self-confidence, which vibrates at a higher frequency that only is heard by those with the relentless ambition to seek it out. I know all too well, the world is in fact a cold place. It's only after you start motivating others that you realize the mission is so much bigger than just you. I feel those who say you need to look out for number one miss the big picture, and that is that we are in fact all one. Of all the lessons I have learned, the one that I have struggled with the most was accepting that all of my hardships have been a gift. One of my greatest obstacles was enduring the pain and solitude of a life outside of the TV image of a cookie-cutter family. What I've learned along the way was that when a gem comes into my life, I'd be a fool to throw it away. The Self-Expression Center is my way of seeking out this family of precious gems. At the end of the day, it's all about how you'll be remembered. Dorothy Height said it best. Greatness is not measured by what a man or woman accomplishes, but by the opposition he or she has to overcome to reach his or her goal. Now, with that in mind, think back to when you were a little kid being called fat or worthless or stupid, useless. Now imagine giving that little kid a superpower. What would it be? And if you were granted that superpower, how would you use it? Every day you have that innate ability to overcome the criticisms and negativity of others and become the best you can possibly be. I mean, think about it. Lions don't really lose sleep over the thoughts and hating of sheep. I once read that freedom is being you without anyone's permission. Now, keeping it 100, whose permission are you asking to be free on a daily basis? And why? If that person is telling you you can't do it, I want you to keep this in mind. The greatest pleasure in life is doing what people say you cannot do. If you're watching this and you've made it to this point in life, trust me, you're here for a reason. And in your journey through life, you're going to meet many people who are willing to act, but they're definitely not interested in putting in the work to become. Quick question. How many people do you know have said that they're going to go out and do something and actually went out and made it happen? So again, if you could be anywhere in the universe, are you willing to put in the work that it takes to turn that visualization into reality? How many weekends are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to be? Are you willing to give up partying, hot dates, championships, sports games to become that person who everyone is watching? This means while others are partying, you're training. When people are out watching the game at the bar having a good time, you're training. While people are out on a hot date, guess what? You're still training. I can say that I don't know everything, but I will say this. I've put countless time into my craft, and two things are for sure. The difference between a crazy person and a genius is nothing but diligence. That's it, diligence. So when the next best idea crosses your mind, I want you to remember this. It's impossible to reach for greatness if you're afraid of heights.